646 here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. You are listening to the Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM. Peter Zimbor and Mike Peva here with you on a Tuesday morning. And as is the case each and every Tuesday morning following a Monday night City Council meeting in the city of Brockton, we are joined in studio by the Brockton City Council President, Robert Sullivan. Robert, good morning and welcome to the program once again.
Peter and Mike, good morning. Thanks for having me on again.
Tell us what was the big topic at hand last night during the City Council meeting.
Well, we actually had a full agenda last night. We reappointed certain police officers, special police officers, the school police, animal control officer. A couple new members were appointed to those departments as well. There was a promotion last night. William Bassett of the fire department was promoted last night to a fire lieutenant, and that's well deserved. Again, we did some acceptance and placed on file of communications, which is standard practice, and a couple different transfers that came before the council. Of course, they came before the finance committee. From the mayor's office, he had requested a couple transfers. One was a transfer of $35,295. The purpose of that was to provide additional funding through the end of the fiscal year for the additional position of a full-time city solicitor. And that did pass favorable last night. And I know the mayor came before us and he articulated that he believes there's a need because of the fact of the money that we're expending for outside legal sources and outside legal counsel. Under the books of the city council, the ordinance for the city of Brockton, there is a need and a call for, and it's allowable to have two full-time city solicitors. So that did pass last night. That will come to fruition. And, we're hopeful that come the next fiscal year when that's going to be a line item budget for, who knows, it could be $75,000, $80,000, we don't know yet. We're hoping that the whole purpose was to decrease the expenses that we're doing outside of the legal department to Boston, the law firms. But we'll have to see how that is. But that did pass last night. One of the other transfer requests from the mayor did not pass last night. And it was a close vote. It needed a two-thirds supermajority vote, and it needed 8 votes, 8 out of the 11, and it had failed 7-4. And that was a transfer. Originally, it was for $54,200 even from the mayor's office for purposes of providing transitional costs for compensation for some separation, and also for additional funding to create some positions in the mayor's office. There was an amendment made on the floor by Councilor at Large Shana Barnes to decrease the amount by about $11,000 or so, brought it down to $39,000. It didn't prevail last night, so it's not going to come to fruition at this time. The mayor, of course, can always come back before us, the body, as finance committee, to try to do another transfer. But one of them passed, one of them failed last night. Just some of the other things that we did last night, to be honest with you, is a lot of different. Referred to finance committee for certain other appropriations. Of course, it's been a really heavy winter thus far, Mike and Peter, and there's been some big expenses relative to snow and ice removal. So, CFO John Condon is concerned about that, as we are. But unfortunately, you can't always figure out how Mother Nature is going to play. So we need to provide the services and the safety for the residents, the taxpayers, our constituents, and we're going to continue to do that and be creative, I hope.
The results of certain funds being transferred last night and others not, what are the results? What does this mean in relation to people working for the city?
Well, in terms of the law department, that did prevail. Again, there's going to be a transfer from personnel department, unemployment insurance, employee benefits, and it would go to personal services other than overtime for the law department. So, in essence, what that means simply is that there's money there now to hire someone or promote someone that's part-time to full-time. Again, it's up to the mayor. I think that's what he articulated to us. That was the thought process. Right now in the city solicitor's office, there's 2 attorneys that are part-time. Of course, the city solicitor himself on the books is part-time, and then there's a full-time assistant city solicitor. So what this allows for is another full-time city solicitor. Perhaps they do promotions from within, or they'll find someone, an applicant from outside. But in essence, what it means is there's going to be another body in the law department to help the city of Brockton on legal endeavors.
In relation to the transfer of funds which did not pass, what does that mean?
Again, I mean, it means simply is that it didn't pass last night. The council, and again, it was a close vote, but the council decided not to ratify the request. So, the dollar amounts that were contemplated to be expended for the mayor's department, the mayor's staff, won't happen at this time. The separation costs for employees that weren't kept on under the prior administration. It was asked of the CFO last Finance Committee if they've already been paid. Those people have already been made whole. They already have been paid. So it's not like they're being cheated. Absolutely not. They're being compensated as such. And it's always a difficult time when a new mayor comes in and an old mayor leaves, because not everybody is kept on. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. You bring in your own staff. So I do think that the mayor has the opportunity to come back. He's the CEO of the city of Brockton. He can always come back. But last night that didn't prevail. So he'll have to work with CFO Conan to figure out how they're going to be creative in terms of financial management. But one of them passed, one of them failed, and we'll have to see what the next step is. It's probably too early or premature to conjecture of what that would be, but right now, that did not happen.
Previously, some members of the Brockton City Council, including yourself, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, had expressed concern over expenses in relation to the new interim police chief in Brockton. You guys had an ordinance meeting since the last time that Mike and myself spoke with you here on the program. That did not come about last night. Where is that at right now?
Yeah, so there was an ordinance committee meeting held a week ago, last Tuesday. It was chaired, of course, by the great Ward 3 Councilor, Dennis Ianeri, who's been a stalwart public servant for the city of Brockton for many, many years on the school and city side. But it was very, very well attended. I would say my 9 years on the city council was one of the most packed city council chambers. And the mayor came before us, and city solicitor Phil Nazarella came before us, and Mr. Hayden was there, and again, it was hotly contested. It ultimately, it was continued to another date so that some more information and fact finding can happen. And I spoke out against it. I'm not in favor of it. Nothing to do with Mr. Hayden. I've talked to a lot of people. I've only met him twice, but he's a very good public servant with a really good track record on public safety and law enforcement. But what I was saying that night, and not everybody was happy with what I was saying, is that to spend money right now, excessive spending is very difficult to do during tough economic times. So to pay a former chief who's now a captain and to pay another chief, you're really paying two people the same price for, in essence, the same job. So I'm concerned about that. But again, my own humble opinion was that not to bring someone from the outside. I mean, there's quality-worthy candidates internal that I would think would be able to be promoted from within and lead the department. But ultimately, the mayor made a decision. You live by it. He's the interim chief right now. Again, he seems to be doing a good job. But ultimately, he's in that capacity under the auspices of the mayor appointing a temporary department head. So Mr. Hayden is the interim chief. He's the chief of the police right now. But that's different than what the ordinance proposed is. The ordinance proposed is to change the laws in the city of Brockton to allow for a civilian commissioner. Again, under the state Mass General Law, you can't be a chief or a police officer once you reach the age of 65. So statutorily, Mr. Hayden isn't allowed to be a chief full-time. But what this proposal as a civilian commissioner would be to allow for someone that's a civilian to run the police department and not have a police chief. And again, it's being hotly contested and debated, and I'm not on the ordinance committee as city council president, but I appointed 5 quality candidates that are, I shouldn't say candidates, quality counselors that are taking it seriously, doing their homework, doing their due diligence, and there will be another meeting. Again, I don't know when the chair is going to call it, and again, that will give the opportunity of all the people, all the interested parties to come before the ordinance committee and articulate their thoughts. And ultimately, the way it works, Peter and Mike, is a decision will be rendered by the 5 committee members. It will either be favorable or unfavorable, or whatever they decide. And then it comes out of there, and it comes back to the full city council. So then all 11 of us will be able to, debate it and either vote it up or vote it down, and we'll have to see. But that's the whole process. We did it last year for the medical marijuana. It's a lengthy process under the law and the procedure and practice, but, we take it serious. And again, not everybody's going to agree with everything, but what I said before on this show, and I've said it many, many times over my 9 years, is, I work for the voters, the people when I ask for the vote of confidence and support, and the taxpayers and the residents that elect me to be the voice, and I'll continue to do that, and hopefully we'll be able to get some really good things done working with the mayor and working with some of the other local elected officials.
Do you think this could be resolved in 60 days, or could this go past the 60 days?
You know, Mike, that's a good question. I know that the interim chief's appointment was for 60 days. You know, I would hope that a decision would be rendered one way or the other prior to that time. But I know, having sat on the ordinance committee, having chaired the ordinance committee, it's a serious thing. I mean, you're changing a law in the city of Brockton that's a governing law. So I'm not sure if it will or will not happen within that time frame. I know it was asked by the city solicitor what would happen if you went past the 60 days and the decision was rendered that the interim chief could be reappointed for, I guess, another 60 days. You know, I'm not sure what the actual hard number would be, but I spoke to the council from Ward 3 last night, the chair, and he's, you know, going to be calling a meeting again pretty soon, and they're taking it serious, as they should, and that's why they serve on the committee.
Once again, we're chatting with Brockton City Council President Robert Sullivan here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. A lot of talk in relation to expenses and finances discussed last night at Brockton City Council meeting. Anything outside of those realms or anything additional inside those realms?
Well, you know, there's two different things, actually. I filed a resolve last night on behalf of the full Finance Committee as my capacity as chairman. And you know, because I'm the president of the City Council, I'm the chair of the Finance Committee, and it was a resolve to invite the mayor, Mr. Conan, the CFO for the City of Brockton, the city solicitor, and also Mark Lindy, executive director of the Brockton Community Access BCA, to come before the Finance Committee because of the fact that discussions have been rendered in the chamber that there's a cable agreement, a cable contract, and certain monies are allowed to be expended out of there. I know that one of the mayor's staff, and he's awesome at what he does, Nubi Ratey, he's getting paid a proportional share of the cable funds. And we just, from a finance committee and from a due diligence period, we're trying to look at that contract. It seems to be that it was prepared under the administration of Mayor Harrington, and it's kind of in the abyss right now. Not a lot of people have actually had possession of it. So I requested, and my colleagues all wanted this to happen, and there'll be certain people coming before us. Again, next Monday's a holiday, so we'll be meeting on Tuesday night. And there'll be a memorandum of understanding, and any and all documents prepared needs to be presented to us just so we can delve into it and make sure everybody's on the same page and everybody understands what's allowable expenditures and really what the percentage is. So that's something that's coming up, Mike and Peter, and that's something that's needed. And again, I announced it last night, and my colleagues were happy that we're doing that. And then something that's really exciting, and it's never happened in the history of the city of Brockton, is this coming Thursday night, we're having a joint meeting. And it's a joint meeting held. It's going to be a quarterly meeting. We're going to hold it, the first one at West Middle School at 7 o'clock on Thursday, this coming February 13th. And it's going to be the City Council, the Brockton School Committee, along with the chair, who also is the mayor. He wears two hats. And then the two Brockton representatives that serve on the Southeastern Regional Vocational School District, Mark Lindy and Wayne McAllister. We're going to be all at the same table. It's going to be an open forum. It's a Q&A. Any and all residents from the city of Brockton can come there. And it was something that I proposed, and I got a lot of support from the local officials. Senator Tom Kennedy mentioned to me he thought it was a great idea as well. And because, again, historically, the way that we meet is we only meet 2 years when we're sworn in, which is wrong. So it's the first one at West Middle School this Thursday. Then we'll go to East Middle School, North and South. And again, it's something that's, of course, it's the infancy stage, so it's kind of yet to be determined on how we're going to play it out. But there'll be an agenda. That definitely is an agenda. And again, I'm hopeful that the place is packed because, again, you have the ability to talk to your local officials. And again, from the Southeastern Regional perspective, 62%, and you'd know this, Peter, 62% of all the students who go there are from the city of Brockton. So it's exciting. It's this coming Thursday, West Middle School, 7 o'clock. I hope people come.
Now, why would the discussion about Brockton Community Access Funds come up now when it's been sort of in place the way it's been since the Harrington administration, as you mentioned?
Yeah, why it was brought up is that one of the gentlemen that was hired by Mayor Carpenter, a percentage of his salary is going to be paid from, and it's allowable, depending on what the percentage is, from the cable funds. Other mayors have done it. Really, it's used as a subsidy to help pay the full salary. But some questions came up a week ago at the Finance Committee. And again, with the new administration, I mean, things do get lost in the shuffle. I mean, that's completely acceptable and understandable. So a resolve was filed. The mayor was ready, willing, and able to come before us, as were the other gentlemen that I proposed come before us. And again, I think what we're trying to get in understanding and really kind of delve into is, what are the terms? Were there amendments? We were told the other night that there was a memorandum of agreement or understanding between the city and BCA, Community Access. So, again, that was really the whole basis of having it, not because anybody dropped the ball, but because there is going to be some sources and resources used to pay a salary, and we want to really have a grasp on it.
Brockton City Council meeting next Tuesday night?
Next Tuesday night. Monday's a holiday.
So will you be joining us in studio on Wednesday?
I will, and I hope that both you and Mike remember that this Friday is Valentine's Day, so I want you to get out there and buy your chocolates for your sweethearts, okay?
Of course.
Mike's favorite holiday, as he's discussed here.
I thought we'd have some chocolate on the table this morning. There's nothing.
You're not our sweetheart.
No, that's true. That's true.
Well, Robert, I want to thank you so much for coming on the program. Once again, one more time, tell us about that event happening at West Junior High with all the elected city officials.
Yeah, so it's called it's a joint meeting of all local elected officials. It's this coming Thursday, 7 p.m. at the West Middle School. I still call it West Junior High. I went there, but it's the West Middle School, 7 o'clock, February 13th, this Thursday. Please come. It's going to be in the cafeteria, not the auditorium. It's in the caf. It will be televised on cable. And again, it's all the local officials from the city council to the mayor to the school committee to the 2 reps that serve on the Southeastern Regional Vocational School District.
Any final words for our listeners before we let you go this morning?
No, I just want to do a shout out to my son and my wife who both had birthdays this week. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday to them. You have to take the kids to school now, don't you?
I do.
We know Robert Sullivan's schedule at this point. 7:02 here on this Tuesday morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.